Hey everyone, I'm Rather Coherent. I know we just finished a playthrough of this, but I have a very different playthrough in mind. I wanted to play Below Zero, but the mods haven't been updated, and as the mods were like the best part of this campaign, they improve it over the Subnautica I remember so much, I really want to play Below Zero once the mods are updated. Now in our previous run, we did play with DeathRun, however, we turned DeathRun mostly off. Coming over to the DeathRun settings, we had damage to 100%, creature aggression at max, and random spawns, which made the game feel scary again. We didn't know if creatures were going to notice us, we knew they'd hurt like hell if they hit us, we didn't know how to play the start we got, so it made it feel fresh, but I wasn't really playing with DeathRun fully enabled. Now I have DeathRun very nearly fully enabled in most settings at worse than DeathRun settings. Damage taken is up to 200%, the surface air is unbreathable. You cannot breathe air on the surface, period, end of story. The radiation is set to go down 200 meters across the entire ocean when the aurora explodes. And it's a much bigger deal than it used to be because power costs are multiplied by 5 if you're in a radiated area. Your Seaglide's not going to last long, your scanner's not going to last long, your base power is going to be a nightmare. Your base power won't be as bad as normal though, because worse than DeathRun settings mean it was already costing 3 times as much. Going up to 5 times isn't really that much worse than it already was. I have turned nitrogen bends off. It's just an unfun mechanic that limits your movement. It does make the game harder, but it doesn't make it more enjoyable, so I'm leaving it off. Personal diving depth is a mechanic that makes it so that you can't just swim to the lava zone at the start of the game, you have to actually upgrade your suits to do so. The aurora is going to explode very quickly. 45 minutes into the game, it's going off, nothing you can do to stop it, and when it explodes, it's going to sort of kill you a little bit if you aren't at least 100 meters deep or inside of a base. DeathRun has a revamped battery system where initially you can only make copper batteries, and they suck and they can't be recharged, and you want to get to lithium batteries, but that's going to take us a while. Power and exit vehicles is an unfun mechanic that I don't like keeping track of, so I'm leaving it off. Vehicle costs have been increased dramatically. You basically can't even build a prawn suit without going into Lost River, and building a sea moth is incredibly hard. I don't want to be losing like 5 sea moths this campaign, it would be a nightmare. I'll talk about that more later once we have the blueprints. The habitat builder is incredibly hard to build now. You need 2 wiring kits, 2 computer chips, and the big one, a piece of magnetite. It's going to be a huge early game ordeal to actually get this habitat builder finished. Scans required set to DeathRun means that we need way more scans. A sea moth is going to take like 12 scans, a mobile vehicle base is going to take like 10, a laser cutter takes like 6. It takes way longer to get things, and that's actually a good thing, because a lot of the times you go to one wreck and you get the item you want immediately, and I dislike that. I like having to actually explore the ocean to get what you want. Going down the creature regression, they know you're there and they want you dead. That's what that setting means. Disorienting is our start location specifically. I'll talk about it once we actually spawn in. Water murkiness is dark. That basically sets your draw distance slightly further in. You can't see quite as far. It's almost not noticeable, but it makes the game feel much more immersive. And the rest of this stuff is really not super important optional things. Now, aside from just doing DeathRun stuff, my goal with this campaign is not to escape. I don't care at all about leaving the planet. I'm not building a rocket ship, that's for nerds. I plan on conquering this planet. I want to make the best base. Our final video will not be us getting in the rocket and leaving. No, our final mission is going to be us doing a base walkthrough of a ridiculous mansion that I have planned in my head already. For now, we need to get into the game, and I want to play on hardcore. But for mod reasons, I have to play on survival. You see, De-Extinction is a mod I'm playing with. It's a fantastic mod, but it has a bug where every time you save and load, it can kind of duplicate some fish a little bit. Not a big deal, but by the 20th save and load, there's kind of a lot of fish in the ocean, and your performance takes a substantial hit. So I want to save every hour or so and play the game in like 8-hour marathon chunks and load the save as rarely as possible. Hardcore can't save, they can only save and quit. So I will be ending this run if I die. However, I can't play on hardcore because that would require me to duplicate the fish or just believe the game won't crash. And both of those are unacceptable. I'd rather just honor code it bronze band mode this. A trick I've learned since our last run is that you can actually hold escape to skip the entire opening cutscene and even the little fire extinguisher set piece. Immediately climbing out the light pod, you can see that we're somewhere in the center north of the map based on the aurora's position, and to our left you can see the mountain, which gives away where we're at. We're very close to the floating islands, coming over to biomes. You can see we're in this single largest kelp forest, the big deep one at the north. And I want to immediately start crafting things. Power is the huge limiting factor that you face early in a DeathRun setting. First, I'm gonna make these silicon rubbers. I'll need them for knife and fins to travel faster, knife to eat. I'll explain more about that in a second. While we wait for this thing to settle on the ocean floor, I'm gonna mine this real quick. And you'll notice I mined it a little bit fast. That's because I'm using the speedrun trick of binding it to scroll wheel, scrolling up slowly, and having at least 30 FPS. Are we settled? Oh. Alright, if you say so. Yeah, this is fine. Where am I? Oh god. Alright, here's the fabricator. We got there eventually. You'll also notice that while I was talking about the map and looking around on the surface, I was suffocating a little bit. Not quite drowning, that's not what you do when you're in the air. But yeah, the surface here is not breathable. It's a slight problem. Now we can throw all of this in the box, take out a water, take out a food, eat and drink. And we're gonna try to heal naturally. We don't want to use that first aid kit, we want to save it.
For your safety, this setting cannot be overridden.
Alright, so this is a really cool biome that I spend very little time in normally. And I could very easily get an oxygen tank. There's salvage right there. I can turn it into metal and get an oxygen tank right now if I wanted to. But I just used 45 of our 75 power already. One solar panel does not charge particularly quickly. So rather than just getting salvage like you would do in any normal game, I'm gonna be looking for limestone to make my first oxygen tank. And there is evidently almost no limestone in this direction. Very sad about that. Yeah, I'm having a hard time telling exactly which side is the top and where the entrance is, but we got there eventually. And for a while, we're gonna be very aggressively anchored to this life pod. As disorienting as being inside of it is, it's the only source of air we have in the game at this moment. Like, there's literally no other way for me to breathe than by going into that life pod. There are a lot of caves around here, a lot of little walls like these, where you can find some limestone. There's a lot more sandstone in this area, really. Which is unfortunate, because we don't really need sandstone, like, at all. And we're having some pretty bad limestone luck here. Like, I have seen basically nothing. It's fine, though. We'll eventually find a cave that's working. God, it's disorienting every time. Coming down this way, I've done a little bit of test playing in this biome. I believe there are caves all over the shop here. At least one or two of them, and they tend to have plenty of limestone in them. I just need to find one. Here we go. One limestone. I actually pick up the titanium. I'm still getting used to the speedrun trick where you use the scroll wheel. Okay, so we can't actually go in there. It's not safe without an O2 tank. That's very unfortunate. And you can see we're just in this like really rough situation off the start where we don't have much ability to move around. We're very short of titanium. And every time I want to craft something, my brain breaks a little bit. I don't want to use the ladder. I want to go over here. We need one more titanium. We're almost there. That next piece of titanium, which I could just get right there, but I'm telling you, power is more important. The first O2 tank is the hardest part. Things start getting easier afterwards. All right, this will be our next piece of titanium. If you don't know, sandstone and all resources in this are not random, they're deterministic. There is something called a resource bucket, where every time you harvest sandstone, there's a bucket with 2 resources in it. Initially, that bucket's gonna have 1 titanium and 1 copper. When you harvest, you'll get something randomly from the bucket, so it's 50-50, and then the other one's still there, so the next harvest is forced to be the one you didn't get last time, and then it refreshes the bucket. Now, thank Christ, I haven't fixed the orientation issue, but I have fixed the I literally can't breathe, please help issue. I didn't get any more titanium, so I can't build my knife yet. And the reason I'm willing to build a knife, even though it's like not really necessary right now, is because it is the food that we're eating. It's the only food that we're eating. You see, we can't afford to cook fish. We don't have the power for that. And as it turns out, you can eat something. You can eat the seaweed. You get 1 water each time and like an amount of food. The water's the main limiting factor here, but you can do it. So I'm gonna spend my nights eating seaweed by flare light, which is not a thing I've ever felt the need to do in base Subnautica, but as far as I can tell, it's like the only way I really have to stay alive right now. It's kind of nuts how different the early game is with full death run settings compared to the base game. It's really, really impressive, and I greatly enjoy how different it is. What I'm not enjoying is how that was nothing but sandstone. Where is my limestone, please? Thankfully, there's huge amounts of salvage here. I don't need it. The salvage is useless to me, but it does distract the dogs a lot, the dogs being the stalkers. Because if it weren't for all the salvage around here, I imagine the stalkers would be a much greater problem. Now, I could build my knife now. I don't actually want to do that. I want to save my titanium. Yeah, I want to save my titanium. I need a little bit more, 2 more pieces, and make a second oxygen tank. In the base game, oxygen tanks are kind of not necessary. Well, the first one is, obviously. Tanks, plural, is the key part of that sentence. The second oxygen tank is a cool strat, you can carry extra ones, but outside of speed runs or like really specific challenges you set for yourself, the second oxygen tank is a safety measure that you absolutely do not need. You can easily go an entire playthrough without drowning with only one. And in this version of the game, the surface is not breathable. It's very important, it changes things a lot. We absolutely need a second oxygen tank. Now, filter orbs always look like mineable minerals to me.
For cave divers is loss of orientation, followed by eventual asphyxiation.
I don't know if that's a lack of confidence or a warning. Either way, I don't greatly appreciate it. But we should be fine. Yeah, totally fine. I'm not comfortable being too deep into caves without my second O2 tank for obvious reasons, but I have to be willing to brave them a little bit if I want to actually get the titanium needed to make that O2 tank. Because again, it's not like I'm gonna swim to another biome, I've gotta do it here. Hell yeah. Alright, now next up, we need pumps to breathe the air from the surface and then pipes to bring that air to us. We need O2 tanks, or more specifically, high-capacity O2 tanks, but those require us to make glass. Each of these will cost us 45 power. It's kind of a big deal. How far along are we on that medkit? Not as far as I would like, but that's fine. We still need to make... Oh, no, before I leave, we need to refill that second O2 tank. This is critically important to staying alive. Always fill your O2 tanks before you leave, or you will die. But now we have enough air that we can go cave diving. Can we go cave diving well or particularly far? No, not at all. Although I should probably grab these bladderfish as an extra source of air. I really should have been doing that off the start. Yeah, this is probably more bladderfish than I'm gonna need. It's fine. If you don't know, eating a bladderfish sets your air to 15. So if you're in a situation where you're drowning, it's nice to have a couple on hand. It looks like night might be getting close to fall. It's kind of dark-ish out there. This feels like about when I would expect night to fall based on my previous runs. I hope we have one more full day. Otherwise, it's time to bust out the flare and then things will get rough. Alright, there's at least a bit of limestone in here. And it's so nice to know that limestone's deterministic because it means that every time I get copper, instead of feeling like I got robbed and I wasted my time, I'm just making necessary progress towards the next piece of titanium. And in fact, at this point in time, you can tell exactly how much titanium I have by counting the copper that I have, because I haven't used any copper, and I've gotten the same number of titanium. Man, alright, there we go. I was gonna say, I'm really surprised there is no limestone on this side of the cliff. And you can see that sometimes when I scroll, I'm not breaking it instantly. Usually that's because I'm scrolling at the wrong speed. I'm just not used to what the right speed is right now. It's gonna take me a long time to learn. It's gonna be a really big appreciation for, like, the actual mechanics going into doing a speedrun, right? Now, how much titanium do I have? 2. I'm just gonna throw stuff in the box and leave. I think that's just reasonable. Oh wait, I don't need to put that fish in the box. The fish stays with me. Aurora's going off in 36 minutes, huh? Right, we have a little bit of light left. Not enough. I need to go get the flare. I'm gonna be in the pitch black by the time I'm going back from this run. So, flares in the base game, completely useless. Why would you ever use them? They're just taking up inventory space. You hate them, you throw them away immediately. In this version of the game, that is not the case. You see, flares are kind of bright. In fact, they are so bright, it appears to be stuck and not really interested in falling. But once you light it and throw it, you can carry it around with you like a torch, and it is so bright that I'm gonna change over to filmic whenever I have one out. Now you can see the world around me is invisible except for the flare is, but the flare, though it's still very, very bright, isn't quite so blinding. Also, let me just quickly turn off my visor, I forgot that was on. And we're gonna swim around through all these cave systems and finally start making some progress. Or more accurately, you're gonna swim through a cave system that's actually already been fully explored and feel ashamed of ourselves for thinking we knew what we were doing. Now these flares actually last an incredibly long time. Goodbye, Boomerang, you seem to be very fast today. The flares, I don't know exactly how long they last, but they seem to last almost forever. I do know they run out eventually. I don't know if it's a set time after you throw them or if it's based on how long they've been in your hands. I had to come back to base because I just realized I wasn't actually with 2 full oxygen tanks. I forgot to reload one of them. Reload's not the right word, but I'll stick with it. Now, we can work in caves. We can move along the edges, we can look for caves. But honestly, our visibility is so bad that actively exploring, like trying to mine in the open right now, is just sort of miserable, not really possible. Now, you might think it's time to build a scanner. If you build a scanner, it doesn't start with a battery. And I don't know if you remember this, but the kelp forest does not include acid mushrooms. So until we have enough oxygen to leave this biome, we physically cannot make a battery to begin scanning things. Which is a little bit rough. I believe we've just made it all the way to the edge of the grassy plateaus, which means we must have been heading south. We were. I'll take a look around on these edges as we're already out here. There tends to be, on cliff faces like this, a lot of, like that, limestone and sandstone around, at least with the grassy plateaus. It's generally true that this sort of area in most biomes has something, but in the grassy plateaus especially. How far away from the life pod am I? We're good, we're good. We're only 100 meters away. Spooked myself a little bit. So, the sandstone is largely useless to me at this point in the game, which is unfortunate. Because it's just pitch black. Because I don't need lead at all. I don't need gold and silver for a while, because I don't have anything that needs them, and I don't have the power to make them anyway. But I will need them eventually. I just harvest them while I'm out, because there's nothing else to do. I think it's time to use some power on a knife and spend the rest of the night eating kelp like Bear Grylls. Now, unfortunately, we just really do not need this lead, like, at all. I say unfortunately, it's kind of a good thing for us. Where the hell am I? It's so disorienting every time I come out of this. So rather than, like, keeping all this lead in the box inside, it can just hang out on the floor over here. And we will not be making storage lockers today because, they're kind of, you know, they cost power and titanium, and we have literally none of either of those things. We need this knife. And we want to be using our power. Can we make any glass? Yes. Only the one, but that's still progress. I'll make a floating air pump. And if we can put anything else in this locker, I would love to. We can. I don't feel like I need these fish. I'm just going to hold on to them for a little while, though. Medical Kit Fabricator has another first aid kit for me. That's absolutely wonderful. It's nice to be at a surplus on those. And I am going to spend the rest of the night eating kelp. I'm not going to make you watch this because I'm going to be doing it in the dark. I can't actually equip a flare while cutting. And I need to be slowly moving the whole time I'm doing it so that stalkers can't catch me. So yeah, you don't really want to see this, and I don't want to make you watch it. I'll see you in the morning when the sun rises, or at least when I'm using a flare to explore again. This does sort of make me feel like a bedtime story the stalkers tell their kids. Like, oh, you better be good or else that rather incoherent, he'll come out at night with his blinding lights and he'll eat our whole house and he'll eat you too. Like, I'm just eating their entire natural habitat out here. It's sort of ridiculous. The sun has risen just as I've finally gotten back to full food and water. No more flares for tonight. What do we need to be doing? We need to refuel our O2 tanks as I'm completely out of air. That's always a good start. We have 29 minutes till the aurora explodes. When it does, there's gonna be a huge shockwave. If I'm in the water, less than 100 meters down outside of the base, it will kill me. That includes this life pod. You will die if you just get in your life pod. Repeatedly, because it'll spawn at low health and the radiation will immediately kill you again. It's very funny. So, in terms of what we need to be doing, we need to know of a place near our base to go that's 100 meters down. We need to be working on laser cutters, because when the radiation comes down after the explosion, it's going to go down about 200 meters. That'll suck for my power on the base, but it'll be even worse for me doing anything with a scanner, because the battery will deplete 5 times faster instead of at the normal rates, which is insanely brutal. And I think, oh, this is the floating islands, we would like to turn around. I am playing with De-Extinction. It adds new leviathans and new predators of other kinds to the game. There are many of both in the floating islands, and I don't want anything to do with it. Now, right now, I think the best thing I could possibly do is actually to go south into the floating, not the floating islands, into the grassy plateaus. And there, I should be able to acquire some quartz. I can use that quartz to make glass to make high-capacity O2 tanks. Because right now, for all of our long-term goals involving like, oh, the aurora's gonna explode, we need to get a laser cutter and a sea glide before any of that happens. Yeah, right now we're mostly just preoccupied with we can't go anywhere. It's a very big problem that we're experiencing at the minute. We need more titanium and more quartz. And I know I haven't gone to the one major cave system in this area. There is a specific, very large, very good cave that I haven't been to, and I need to go find it. It could be here. I feel like this is where I keep going looking for it and missing, but maybe I'm wrong. This is looking promising. Yeah, this is it. I've gone into it a little bit, but I haven't fully explored it, I think. I've done this run a couple of times. As I said, I'm treating it like a hardcore run, so I've done this a few times. My memory of each attempt is starting to blur together just a little bit. But yes, there is a lot of limestone in here, and more importantly for what I was just saying, there's a bit of quartz too. I don't know if there is going to be enough for us on this particular day, but it's a good start. The limestone is absolutely wonderful this time. Usually there's just tons and tons of sandstone in here, and the limestone is actually kind of trash. This is far and away the most limestone I've seen, but I need at least one more piece of quartz before I get out of here. And it's looking like it's not fated to be. There's a lot of cave left. Where's the life pod? 85 meters that way. I know where the entrance is. We're good. Unfortunately, even with speedrun stats saving me a lot of time here, there's just not a second quartz in here to get. So we gotta go. We gotta boogie. We can't stand here. We will drown. And that means we do have to make a brief trip over to the grassy plateaus to our south. The south being over there near the Altera fabrication facility, or rather in that direction, not near. But before I go, I want to make absolutely sure that I'm never capped out on power. I'm going to make several pieces of glass. That's all I can do. Actually, I've got the one. Is that enough for a high capacity tank? Holy shit, it is. That's so good for us. This high capacity tank is tremendously valuable. It gives us so much more range than the normal tank. That increases us from like 30 seconds of extra air to 90 seconds of extra air. It's just so much better now. I'm pretty sure our fabricator won't be done yet. Let's just head over directly to the grassy plateaus and start working on getting more glass for more high capacity tanks. We do need pipes for our filter pump that we're carrying with us right here. But unfortunately, that's not actually helpful for us right now. And the reason it's not helpful is because even if we had the pipes, they would be taking up inventory space and we'd still have very, very limited range. The capacity tanks are actually more valuable for going further earlier, in my opinion. And we should probably take a detour in here a little bit and look not just for quartz, but for acid and mushrooms that we can make a battery. We need a battery and we need a scanner to start working on, you know, literally everything else in the game. Right now we have neither. And the reason we have neither is because we can't waste our precious, precious power building a scanner that has no battery. We can easily build a scanner right now, but the acid and mushrooms are a limiting factor. I'm just going to be grabbing, I'll grab 4, one for a battery and one for a backup battery in the future. Any more than that seems unnecessary. Now we just need to find the quartz on all this grass. Unfortunately, the grass is actually loading in on time, so I can't see any quartz because it's hiding in the grass like it's supposed to. I can guarantee you that there is quartz here. I'm just not seeing it.
Short-range scans suggest this biome supports extensive biodiversity and connects to a number of small cave.
Alright, there's one. It's just so hard to see this stuff. Unfortunately, I think I'm mostly done with this run because my oxygen is pretty much down to nothing. I'm on my one bad tank now. And yeah, we're 200 meters away. We just need to head back and gather as we go. Staying there isn't really possible, and now we have good reason to build pipes because it can actually increase our range out here, I guess. I was hoping to get the quartz on our first run, but that grass just messed me up, man. Did not see anything. Drooping stingers are a little bit terrifying to me now because they do basically one-shot you if you clip into them on DeathRun settings with the damage this high. Just not seeing quartz anywhere, it's rough. At this point, I don't feel like I need to be curing these bladderfish. It just hasn't been relevant so far, and I think I'm past the most sketchy parts. I'd rather have the inventory space. I can make a battery. We're gonna make a pair of copper zinc batteries, we're gonna make a scanner, and that lets us get working on other things. Now, how are we doing on inventory space? Is it as terrible as I think? Yeah, it's bad. We aren't doing on inventory space is the real answer.
From salvage technology and to record alien biological data.
I think all my lead has just fallen through the ground at some point. That's okay, we didn't need it anyway. I actually need to hold on to a little bit of lead. And on that note, even though it's a far ways off right now, if I have any power before I leave, I want to use it making fiber mesh. I don't, that's fine. I should probably refill my OG tanks while I'm in here and just eat this. It's not a big deal, it's not a waste of time. I need to have the fiber mesh built before we actually get hit. I need everything to build a anti-radiation suit, the lead line suit, when the explosion happens. I'm gonna be hiding like 100 meters down. Yeah, I know.
Drive core.
That's exactly what I'm talking about now, game. I'm very stressed about it.
Continuing to monitor.
So, in 22 minutes, I need to be 100 meters down, and then I have to come up, heal myself through the radiation if there is radiation to heal through, and immediately build the radiation suit while I have time. We can load this with a battery now. It's nice to actually have the ability to scan, not that there's anything I need to scan right now. Our number one priority right now is a Seaglide and a laser cutter. The Seaglide is necessary to get to the Aurora safely. The laser cutter is necessary to actually... Actually, no, it's not. I could make a second trip to the Aurora, but I really don't want to do that. That sounds absolutely terrible. So the laser cutter is necessary to go to the Aurora only once and to get a lot more batteries out of that trip. Which is one of the bigger things. Like, yes, we do fix the radiation, but we also just get a ton of batteries. God, I know I'm missing them. All right, that is actually a sand shark egg. It's not even quartz. That's quartz. Still not seeing anything else, though.
100 meters. Oxygen efficiency decreased.
Can't ever say no to limestone. It's still like the most important resource, and there are apparently 3 of them right here. And a laser cutter. This is a great place. Oh, is this mobile vehicle bay? No, it's laser cutter. Good. This is going to be one of the harder things to get, because when we scan this, you will see that we need 6 of it. And getting 6 of anything isn't that hard, but the time frame that we're on is crushing. Have I really not found more than like 1 piece of quartz this run? I've got to go back. I'm 300 meters away. I have to turn around like now. Oh, that's rough. I just can't find quartz today. Oh, there's 1 piece at least. I don't know how much glass or quartz is in the base. If it's 1 piece of glass, I'm fine. If it's 0, then I need more. Ugh, gross. But we gotta go back. In fact, I'm cutting this very close. Oh no. I think we're fine. I'll get back with you as my screen fades to black and I get into the light pod and nothing bad happens. I should have made pipes. Yeah, that was a little bit stressed at the end, but we're fine. I had my time right for how much I could cover ground, but God, it's just disorienting every time I get in here. My brain just stops trying to figure out how to move through this. Now, how are we looking on this O2 tank? We're short 1 glass, and we're short 1 quartz for that glass and 10 power for everything else. All right, that's fine. This means we need 1 more quartz. Not a big deal. We're doing the same long trip again. I should have made pipes. Don't know why I didn't. The answer is because they take up 5 inventory slots, or I throw 4 of them away. Either way, I don't like that answer. I'm still carrying 2 lead with me, right? Yeah, good. I'm just really worried because the lead I dropped on the ground fell through the ground, and it's like, oh no, that's... I can't not have lead when the Aurora explodes. It's non-negotiable. This mobile vehicle bay barely matters, I'm gonna be honest. You need 10 of them. We are so far from being able to scan 10 Seamoth wrecks or even make the Seamoth that it hardly matters anymore. Now, I'm gonna swim around looking for boxes. I think that's more mobile vehicle bay, but it's still, like, you gotta go check it out. I don't really care about scanner rooms or bioreactors. There's nothing at that wreck that really matters to me. Mobile vehicle bay again. I honestly don't even know if I should be scanning these. Like, it's just not what I need right now.
100 meters. Oxygen efficiency decreased.
Now I'm swimming up this way for 2 reasons. One is there's frequently a little laser cutter box as this falls out, and in fact there is. It's right there at the very edge of my screen. YouTube probably can't even see it. But also, you see these pillars from the kelp forest, and then this plateau from the grassy plateaus, and then the mushroom forest over here. You can build a really cool base that sprawls between the 3 of them at the 3 corners of these biomes. That's where I'm going to be building my base in this playthrough. It's going to be a really cool place for a base. I have lots of good ideas involving what to do with it. And also, it's actually like a crazy efficient place to build a base. I'll get more into that later once we're actually building it. Right, they hate me, but they couldn't do anything about it, so it's fine. I guess I'll scan the Cyclops hull fragment while I'm here. Why not? Switch over to my other AT tank. I probably need to be going back. I'm 375 meters away. We need to go home because I am out of air. I will try to do it in a way that skirts through some stuff, looks through some grass, tries to find some quartz. So far, no dice, like at all. That's a sand shark egg. I'm just not seeing it at all. The quartz is evading me today. It's deeply frustrating. is entirely possible there's just, like, not quartz, and I got very unlucky with my spawns, but much more likely I'm just blind.
30 seconds.
Oh no, I'm gonna drown. Well, shit. We need to snag a bladderfish on our way over. There's a bladderfish. Look, it's nothing personal. I like being alive.
Oxygen.
Okay, we're fine now. Oh, that was... I was very... I was like, oh, do I really have to re-record this again? Oh no, I've released the fish. It's fine, we still don't need to re-record it. What button do I press to eat a raw fish? Oh, you don't press a button to eat it when it's in your hands. You open your inventory to eat it. It's fine. I wasn't wrong about the time in the first place, so it doesn't matter. Don't want my meal to be falling around my house. Yep, still can't make glass. Nothing to do here. Alright, we normally go in that direction. I'm gonna cut much harder this way. Look for new boxes and new quartz. There's gonna be so many stalker teeth near my base that just fall through the floor that I never pick up. It's kinda sad. Night's falling, we're gonna be going into flare mode soon, and that's unpleasant. We're getting mobile vehicle base scans, it's just that we don't need them, like at all. Mobile vehicle bay is not our limiting factor at the minute. It's titanium, it's quartz, it's base power, more than anything, really. I'm gonna switch over to filmic now. Because it's flare time. There turns out to be a lot of stuff in here that I just wasn't seeing because it was so dark. Is any of it quartz? Oh my god, some of it is. Is this still on filmic? It's just so bright today. Oh, gross. This cave is just particularly reflective and there's nothing I can do about it. But we got the one quartz we need, and we've even got some more. This is a very nice cave. Glad I found it. Unfortunately, most of this lead will end up clipping to the ground and being ignored for the rest of the time. But it's very nice to be getting quartz, it's very nice to be getting titanium and copper. I guess I don't really need the copper. I feel like I'll need it soon, though. I feel like I can't possibly not need copper. That's more quartz, and I've been struggling so much on it that I just want to grab it now while I know it's here. And I think I'm just going to swim back to base and start spending my time eating kelp. Because as you can see, I've lost a lot of water. And since kelp is 1 water per kelp, I need to eat 50 pieces of kelp, so it's going to take me a hot second. And with the rest of my power, I think I'm just going to be making a pair of wiring kits and copper wire. Because I know I'll need this later to build my habitat builder, and it helps me free up a little bit of inventory space right now. Now, in terms of inventory space, we are doing terribly. Everything is bad. I think I just throw most of my lead away, and that's all I can do to help out my inventory space issues. But we do have a second high-capacity O2 tank now with all that quartz, so that's very, very nice. And I'll see you in the morning when the light is back. Coming over to the Blueprints tab, let's take a quick look at some of the crazier stuff going on. If we wanted to make, say, a habitat builder, we need 2 wiring kits, 2 lithium, 2 computer chips, and a magnetite. So I'm working on the wiring kit and the computer chips now. The magnetite's going to require a trip much later on. We can't really do it right now. I can't show you the requirements to build something like a CMOS, but it's going to be absolutely crazy. I promise you, they cost a lot more than they used to. I'm trying to think, the reason I was looking at that is what is my current goal? Because my inventory is just full. I've got stuff. I've got so much stuff now. I can't really drop any of this. I have 36 power. I'm going to use that now to make the 2 fiber mesh I'm going to need later for the radiation suit, so I can't forget and mess that up. That's very important. And then after this, I think I'm just looking... Yeah, after this, I want to go scan more stuff. I want to go look for laser cutters and sea glides. I want to build another pump, and I want to start building pipes and start leaving. And as much as I hate it, I might have to build some portable lockers out here, because, yeah, that's just where I'm at. I don't have any titanium to spare. Am I really building portable lockers with what little precious titanium I have? I guess the counterpoint is I didn't have any titanium because I spent like 14 making better O2 tanks, but I've done that already. What do I need now? It doesn't really matter what goes in, it just matters that the first aid kit's not staying in. I bring another one with me. We're up to 3 first aid kits. So what am I doing today besides eating kelp? I don't know. I'm not sure what I should be doing while I wait for this to explode and for my power to generate. I'm gonna go south again and look for laser cutters. I know I need those for the aurora. The safe shallows are just so far away. They're like twice the distance. And I know they're a better place to go for a sea glide, but I feel so far away from being able to make a sea glide right now that it feels almost farcical to talk about it being better for sea glides. Just grabbing a bladderfish because I learned my lesson last time, I think. I'm not sure. You know what? I don't have pipes. And if I don't have pipes, it's not safe for me to explore in any capacity. I just have to get titanium and go back. Alright, fair. This trench probably has some resources in it. Or this wall. Like, there's gonna be some limestone around here somewhere. Do I just have titanium sitting in my inventory right now for once? Yeah, I've got 5 pieces of titanium in my inventory. Go me. I'm so in control of the crafting side of the game. Wow. That just makes me sad with myself. Yeah, why'd I come out here without building pipes first? Because I didn't have power. There's nothing for me to do. Wait, what? This isn't jelly shrooms. It can't be jelly shrooms, but it's going down like it would be. What the hell is this? I don't know, and I can't check. It's not jelly shrooms. Jelly shrooms aren't this far north. I genuinely don't know what I just went into. We've got plenty of air to grab some more limestone before we go. I don't need to worry about this. And, dude, I don't know what that cave is. Because I can come over to my map, go over to Jelly Shroom, and they're not here. Jelly Shroom caves are all the way down there. So I've got no idea what that is. It sure looks like it's going into Jelly Shrooms. I think it's just like some sort of deep grass plateau cave that I did not remember existed. And the reason I say I didn't remember it existed instead of didn't know is because as I went down there, I had a thought, didn't I build my base on top of this in my very first playthrough? And I'm pretty sure I did, but I don't remember that cave at all. I just remember building on top of that cave. Not what was in it, because like after you go through it once, you're done. There's no resources left. We have 7 minutes until the explosion. We need to find our safe haven. Our safe haven's gonna be over there, I think. Unless we can go straight down next to the base, that remains to be seen. 42 power. There are 2 things that I know for a fact I absolutely have to make, no negotiations. I need a second floating air pump so that I can use 1 for a cave system and 1 for travel. And I need pipes so that I can actually use the floating air pumps. Looking at my inventory, you can see that I have problems. This is not good. Fine, I hate it. I hate every single part of it. I'm building a waterproof locker. In my titanium-starved, power-starved game, I'm using both to make lockers. It's so gross. I hate this. Could you not? I'm trying to inventory manage, sir. These actually cannot go in there. I need to put something else in. Okay, cool. I've got what I need with me. God, you just have no inventory in this game, don't you? Like, looking at my inventory, I have almost no tools, but all of this is stuff that I need with me. That's crazy. I hate it. But we can finally bind pipes. We can start using our flotation devices, or our water filters, rather. Our air filters. There we go. I got there eventually. And we can go explore a little bit further. We only have 5 minutes left. Can I go straight down under 100 meters here? Because I absolutely need to survive. If I can just go straight down 100 meters at my base, that would be ideal. And,
oxygen efficiency.
yeah, we're just gonna hide down here while the aurora explodes. It's not ideal. You would like to have a base, but with my start and a 45-minute explosion timer, I think there's literally no conceivable way for me to have a habitat builder before the aurora explodes. Like, I'm sure I could have played this more optimally, but I can't imagine having already trekked down to the jelly shrimp caves. Man, you guys love your titanium, don't you? There is evidently a stalker nest right next to my base. He's gonna be really upset in a few hours when I can finally afford to scrap salvage and I just steal his entire house. I'm trying to think, what do I need? Time for power to build a habitat builder, titanium to build pipes to go to the jelly shrimp caves, the aurora to explode so that I'm safe to travel and that I can build a radiation suit. I need a laser cutter to go to the Aurora, the Seaglide to go to the Aurora. So there's lots of things that I need. I'm largely limited by power and time on all of them. I think that where I am, there's no real chance of me finding any new boxes. I will go a little ways. I just found a box that was new immediately after talking all that shit. Nice. Oh, maybe I didn't. Ow. Stop that. I can't go too much further. I don't care about the scanner room fragment at all. My scanner rooms are nice, but I kind of just can't be here. I can't make a base. What would the point be? And yeah, there's no nearby laser cutters. To get any more requires us to travel further out, and the Aurora exploding says that we can't do that right now. Once the Aurora explodes and everything's irradiated, I can wear my radiation suit and use the pumps and we can go wherever we want. But right now, that's just not an option. So honestly, while I wait for the Aurora to explode, I'm just gonna eat kelp, and I'll see you when the explosion is imminent. We're currently swimming down to 100 meters to wait for the explosion to pass. I'm sure it's gonna be fine.
Passing 100 meters. Oxygen efficiency decreased.
We'll hang out a little bit above 100 meters until the explosion is actually heading. Guys, no, can we just peacefully cohabit this kelp forest for a little while? Also, if I were you to get down under 100 meters, just come hang out with me in this little hole over here. Yep, that is time to go down.
Emergency.
It's all gonna be fine, I promise.
In the Aurora's drive core. The reactor will reach a supercritical state in T-minus 10, 9, 8.
I'm sure we're gonna be fine.
6,
This feels super safe to me.
4, 3, 2.
Okay, we were 100 meters down, so even though that text popped up, we didn't take the damage. I'm gonna wait for all the audio effects to stop to make sure that we don't, like, walk into a persistent damage field. I've got no idea if that is how it works or not, but I would like to stay down here for understandable reasons.
New blueprint acquired.
Okay. We've successfully survived the Aurora's explosion, and we're immediately getting irradiated. You can see that it kinda hurts. This is just everywhere now. If you're not ready to make the radiation suit when this happens, congratulations, your run is over. You lost. Not really a thing that happens in normal Subnautica. Fabricator, please. Fabricator, where are you? Give me the radiation suit. As soon as I'm wearing it, I'm gonna use... Actually, I've already lost enough health. It's fine. Hurry it up, Fabricator, please. There, finally. Okay. Good thing we stockpiled some medical kits, because we needed them for that. It's just rough when the Aurora explodes. And with that done, with the Aurora blown up and us having survived it with our radiation suit, we've gotten our starting gear. In my other Subnautica playthroughs, the first video ended, and I had like a Seaglide and a Fabricator, or a Basebuilder, whatever it's called. And in this one, I'm like, guys, I have a knife, I didn't die, things are going great. DeathRun has really changed how I feel a lot. Is this an eclipse? Oh shit! I thought it was just nighttime. Look at that. That was a neat way to celebrate the Aurora exploding, and a neat way to end... Stalker, please. Stalker, please. And a neat way to end the video is what I was going to say. But I've been rather than go here. It's been a good start to DeathRun. I've been really enjoying it, and I'll see you in the next one. If you like the video, then like, comment, subscribe. All that nonsense really helps the channel grow. YouTube algorithm, blah, blah, blah. You all know the drill. And support me on Patreon if you want to. I know you don't, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway.